Hello everyone. Today we are starting our next session that is based upon R objects. As in the previous session, I have told you there are 5 different types of R objects that we are commonly used. The first one is known as character. So before defining anything, I have to first use that particular variable name with the object, not that exact name but with the short name, so that you can able to identify it is belong to that particular object. So first one is the character thing. So there are other keywords that are available, so I'm using as my character. So the first thing first, I'm using a hashtag symbol so that you can see as a, you can say it's an comment that what I am doing. So I am defining a character in case of R, defining a character in R. So in this case, I'm using my first character, that is my name. I'm using it. So in this case, I'm using my underscore, or you can say my character. So I'm assigning it in case of R, we assign it like this left assignment thing. And in this case, I am defining my name as, because my name starts with Ashish. So I'm going back and I'm writing it like this. So my name is Ashish Katyal, and you can also say my full name is, with my current degree, is Dr. Ashish Katyal. So this thing has been defined, and you can see here my character has been defined and Dr. Ashish Katyal is there. There are two ways I have told you. One is by using print command. I can directly print my, you can say, my name, that is my character, and this is the power of R Studio, where we can directly fetch our variable name, that is my character. So here it is my character name, that is Dr. Ashish, or you can simply write my character in this case, so that you can able to identify what is the value that are involved in this particular variable. So this is the first thing, that how can we define a character in R. Second, that is how can we define a number. It is very easy. So just for example, I'm saying number, my number. So I am assigning it like this. So it is 12. I have told you in the last session, but for using R, you have to keep in mind that R is perfect for working with vectors and matrices. So rather than defining one value at a time, I am defining more than one value at a time. And the term, that is vector, you have to keep one thing in mind: a vector can only contain objects of same class. So for example, if I am defining a vector with character, so it should contain all the character thing. So for example, Ashish, Ashwani, Yatin, all my friends names are there. So in this case, you can name a vector rather than speaking my friends list. I can type. So in this case, my friends, pardon for this mistake, by friends I am assigning like this. So in this case, I am assigning in vector. For vector, it is the e thing, that is C is used. First is, for example, I am writing Ashwani. So after that, I have to mention the another name. For example, I am saying Yatin is there. So for example, I am saying Pankaj is there. So all the names you can mention, all the any kind of so it's a combination of same kind of data. So in this case, all three characters are there, and it is, I am assigning it in case of my friends. So this is the thing. So you can see my friends, it consists of three characters. First, because in R it starts from first, so it is Ashwani, then Yatin, then Pankaj, all the things are there. And the same thing is applied for my numbers. So instead of saying one value, I'm saying multiple values. For multiple values of same type, I'm using a vector thing. So in case of vector, I'm saying 11, 33, 46, or maybe 56 or 77 and 99. All the things are there, and it can be assigned toward this my numbers. So my numbers has been defined. In this case, 5 values are there, ranging from 11, 33, 56, 77 and 99. Another thing you can also use for the logical thing. So logical thing are logical objects are defined by, for example, true and false. So if one thing is there, then you can simply write my logic. So in this case, so instead of going for one thing at a time, I'm using a vector thing. So I'm using left assignment, and for the vector it is the, so instead of using them in quotes, because true is also a type of character, but if I am writing true in terms of this, so for example true, so it will automatically suggest me that please write in all caps, so it is there true. And for example I am writing false in all, again for example true, again for example false. So these five things are there, and not five, four things are there. So I'm just defining it, my logic. So you can see my logic from 1 to 4, true false, all the things are available. If you do not want to write the full logic operator, or you can say object, then so my logic abbreviation you can also use, and you can also use different kind of names for the variable. So instead of writing the full true false, I can simply write t comma, for example false, for example t for true, and false for f. So in this case all four things are available automatically. If you can see, this is my logic abbreviations and four things are there, and here it is automatically converting the t thing into true and f thing into false. So these kind of things are available in case of R. So three things I have covered. One, for example, how to define the character, or how can we define multiple characters by the use of you can say vector. Second thing, we have seen how to define a number, and how can we use that thing in vector by defining multiple numbers at a time. And third, how to define a logic object or logical object, and how to use that particular thing in case of vector, that is multiple logical values we are giving in the form of full true or false, or in the form of abbreviation, that is t and f. Along with that, I have also told you in the last session that we can use a range operator that will come under integer rather than number in this case. So for example, my range, a variable name, my range I am writing, and in this case I am assigning, for example 100 towards 120. So instead of defining a vector, I'm using a range operator in this case. So here you can see my range is available, and here it is converted into integers, and the values are 100, 101. So 11 by default thing it is available. Total 21 values are there. So in this case, so we'll value, how can we calculate 120 minus 100 plus 1? So it is 20 plus 1, that is 21. 21 values are there, you can see in this case. So my range operator is there, or not operator, the variable is there. Another object that we have say, or we have told in the last session, is regarding the complex value. So these are the my complex values are there. So you can see we are assigning it. So rather than going for one thing at a time, I am doing for multiple, that is I'm using a vector. So as vector consists of more than one entity, so I stands for iota, and along with that I am using, for example 3 iota. So two values are there, and we can see automatically my complex object is there, and there are two objects. One is 1 plus 0 iota, and second one is 2 plus 3 iota. So both things are available in this case, and it has been already shown in our environment. So these kind of variables we have defined in the form of our objects. So we can also use another you can say keyword, that is vector, to define. Rather than using C, we can use vector thing also. For example, I am using a name of variable x5, and instead of using C, I am using vector. So in this case I can assign that I am using numeric, and what is the length of this? Length is 10. Length is equal to 10. It automatically recommends me all the things. So numeric and 10, the length of the vector should be 10. So in this case you can see x5, 1 to 10 are there, because I have not defined anything in the values are not present. I have only said that please create a vector that consists of numeric value, how much? 10. So how can we assign those things? So if I am calling it, for example, x5, nothing is there, we have not defined it anything. So these kind of thing you can use in this case. Along with that, for example, if I am using it like in a range operator thing, for example 1 to 10. So in this case what will happen? So 1 to 10, if I am saying please do that, because you already know that when we use range operator, one extra value is there. So in this case, this, whether it is working or not, no, it will not work in this case. So you have to define what kind of variable you are using in this case. So earlier it was numeric, you cannot use range operator in this case in such a manner. So how can we use a range operator in such other kind of thing? So I'm using Control L to clear the screen, and I'm right now using mixed objects. So how can we use mixed objects in case of R? So first thing, sorry for that, because I'm recording not first time, after long time I am recording this particular session. So I will keep you have to wait for some time so that my voice will go in a smooth manner. So without other discussion about this voice thing, I'm just saying how can we define mixed variable, for example, or you can say mixed objects, not variable. So another variable, that is y1, I am defining, and it consists of two different things. That is, it consists of range operator along with that of the character thing. For example, 4 to 7. So how many values are there? 7 minus 4, that is 3 plus 1. 4 values are there. So in this case you can use a space manner also, or second thing, for example, I am using Dr. Ashish in this case. So these two things are there, and when I click on enter, you can see automatically the priority has been given to character thing. So this is integer and this is character. Automatically we can use the priority thing, that is character. Or in other words, you can say that we can convert integers into string or character by simply using quote sign. So automatically the preference has been given to characters. So here you can see the vector name y1 has the type character. So instead of doing such thing, we can also mix with other thing. So for example, I am assigning it y2 with another, that is this one. I'm using both the logical as well as numeric thing. So logical you can use as t, or you can also use in a full manner, but the only thing you have to keep in mind, it is in caps. Along with that, I'm using 22. So in this case y2, you can see it's a number, so priority has been given to number instead of logical thing. So the top priority till now out of 3 is given to character, then it is for numeric, and then is for logical. So you can see in the both the cases, that is integer and number, which been given more priority. So we can check that with this particular case. So for example, in this case I am using a vector that consists of two ranges, 1 to 5, another range that is 4 towards 6, and I'm using variable you can say value, that is numeric thing, two values I'm using this. So in this case you can see automatically in terms of priority, the integer is not given priority over number. So here the number has more priority. So the topmost is character, then is numeric, then is integer, and then is logical. So in this case I have not checked that whether here the priority has been given to the integer. So here I am using t for the true and false for the logical things. And you can see in this case of y3, it has been changed towards integer. So more priority is given to integer. So right now we have done till now we have done 4 different kind of mixed object. The priority is given first to character, second is towards the numeric, third is for the integer, and fourth is for the logical thing. So can you see whether we have to check whether the priority is given more towards the character to the logical? So we have to see this combination also, but I have already told that the more priority has been given towards the character thing rather than that of the logical. So I'm just combining it. To true I am writing instead of t, and false I am writing f in this case, and along with that I'm using my name again, because it is easy to write your name. Then you already know that the priority should be given towards this character thing. So here true false Ashish is there, so in this case the priority has been given to the character. So these are the things that we have to see, or you can say the priority thing which has been given. So in this session we have learned the mix objects, along with that the priority thing. At the last, I'm just summarizing one more time. The top priority is given to the character in case of R, then numeric, then integer, then you can say that it is logical thing. So these things are there. One thing has been left, that is complex thing. So we can also check for the complex part, that is I'm defining one more time. So in this case 1 plus 0 iota comma, for example number is there, for example, one more thing, that is range operator is also there. We already know that range has less priority over number, so in this case we are just checking complex has more priority. So one more thing has been come into picture. Top one is character, then it is for complex, then it is for number, then it is for integer, and at the last it is for logical object. So these 5 things you have to keep in mind. One more time I am writing it. So the first priority is given to the character, the second priority is given to the complex, the third is given to, that is numbers, the fourth is given to, you already know that, integers, and the fifth is given towards, that is logical objects. So these 5 things we have covered today about mixed objects, and we have seen the priority out of these particular variables. So in the next session we will see the force conversion thing. How can we convert one variable into another variable, or you can say one type of variable into another type of variable. Thank you so much.